Ranger. A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver. The Lone Ranger.
Hi-Yo Silver! Away!
With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early West. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Well, Tonto, did you find out anything interesting in town?
We have plenty news. Sam Slater, a man who break jail. Him headed this way.
Are you sure?
Him seen in Sweetgrass 2 days ago. Asked storekeeper how far to Marysville.
Marysville? Now, that's in this county. I wonder why Sam Slater is coming here.
Him maybe head for Black Hills. Them make good hideout.
That's all he's looking for. Why should he come this far north? There are plenty good hideouts south of here.
Him maybe have friends in this county.
That's what I've been thinking. There's that old henchman of his, Bob Shea. He's been seen in this territory. And then there's that other fellow. A boy who disappeared right after Slater's biggest holdup. He was never heard from again.
But no one know where him go. Not even boy's family. Them say him innocent. But him not come back to prove it.
Yes, I know, Tonto. It's too bad the way fear makes a man act.
Now, what we do, Kemo Sabe?
Wherever Slater goes, trouble goes with him. We'll search this whole area. Maybe we can find him before he hurts anybody. Let's go.
You sent for me, Mr. Wilson?
Yes, come on in, Jeff. I've just been going over this land survey you made out. It's an excellent job. I want to compliment you.
Thank you, sir.
How long have you been with my bank, Jeff?
7 years.
7 years, eh? You've made a remarkable progress in that time. You were pretty green when you first came to it. I wasn't just sure how you were going to make out. You've done fine.
Well, you helped me a lot, sir.
No more than you deserve. You worked hard.
This job means a lot to me. I regard it as an opportunity.
It is, Jeff. That's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. We're opening a new branch of the bank in Prairie City. We need a manager. How would you like the job?
You mean it, Mr. Wilson?
Of course I do.
You think I can handle it?
I'm sure you can. It'll be a real chance for you. Country's growing all the time. Be a chance for you to grow with it.
Oh, that sounds like a wonderful opportunity. Of course, I'll have to speak to Molly about it.
Naturally. We always have to consult our wives on steps of this kind. I think you'll find Molly will be all for it.
Oh, I'm sure she will.
Why don't you take the rest of the day off? Have a talk with Molly and drop in and see me in the morning.
Thank you, sir. That's just what I'll do it.
What's the matter, Jeff?
This picture of Sam Slater in the paper. It startled me.
Slater?
Yes. He looks like someone I used to know.
Why, you couldn't possibly have known Slater. He's a notorious outlaw, murderer.
Yes, I know. I've heard of him. When did he escape?
A few days ago. He killed a guard in his getaway. Well, this seems to upset you, Jeff.
Oh, no, sir. I'm all right. It's just a coincidence. He looks like someone I went to school with.
If anything's worrying you, anything at all, you can talk to me about it.
Why should anything worry me?
It's a question you'll have to answer.
If anything was bothering me, anything serious, I'd have to go to the law. That'd be the only straightforward thing to do.
Yes, that would be the straightforward thing. But even if he is your father-in-law, Jeff, Sheriff Harper's not the man I'd like to take my troubles to.
He's a good man.
He's an honest man, if that's what you mean. I can't help feeling that he lays too much emphasis on the letter of the law, not enough on the spirit.
Still, he's the man I'd have to go to.
Whatever you think best, Jeff. But remember, I have confidence in you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm just asking you to be a little easier on my boy, Jim. He's not the one that started that trouble. Matter of fact, he didn't know those fellas were really planning to rob the store. He thought it was sort of a joke.
Howdy, son.
Hello, Jim.
Be with you in a minute. What's your trouble?
I gotta talk to you.
Sure, I'll be right there. Well, Tom, is that all you've got to say?
I reckon that about covers it.
Well, the answer to all you're asking is no.
It ain't human to be the way you are.
Law officers are not supposed to be human.
You gotta have a human side. Someday you're gonna find that out. I only hope it ain't too painful when that day comes.
That's the trouble of being a lawman, Jeff. People don't understand it when you do your duty.
But, Jim, what about that boy's mother? It doesn't seem fair to make innocent people like her suffer for what he did.
Women always suffer in a situation like that, Jeff. There's no way around it except for the men not to break the law.
Yes, I see what you mean.
But that's enough about old Tom's troubles. Let's hear about yours.
No, it really wasn't anything very important.
Well, you must have had something on your mind. What was it?
Well, I thought maybe you could help me persuade Molly about something.
Can't handle her alone, eh? What's your problem, son?
It's about the bank. Mr. Wilson's opening up a new branch in Prairie City. He wants me to manage it.
Now, I'd say that's mighty fine. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Any sign of Slater at all, Tonto?
Not yet, Kemo Sabe. We search whole area near hills.
I haven't had any better luck either. There's still a lot of ground to cover. Let's keep looking.
Jack's house is just over that hill. Only he calls himself Jeff Niles now. I just found him a couple of days ago.
And he's working in a bank, you said?
Yeah.
That couldn't fit into my plans any better. Come on, we'll go the rest of the way on foot.
Well, why don't we take the nags? It'd be faster.
Can't take the chance. Gotta sneak up on him. It's over 7 years since I saw Jack last, and he ain't exactly grateful to me for getting him involved in that holdup.
You figure he might want to start some trouble?
Maybe. Maybe not. But if he wants to hang on to that nice reputation he's built up for himself, he'll have to play ball with me.
Why, he wouldn't dare do anything else. His father-in-law's the toughest sheriff for miles around. Why, you'd put a child in jail for stealing candy.
Yeah? That makes it even easier. Still, it may not be enough. Trouble with Jack is he always was an honest man. Sometimes that's hard to change.
We can handle him.
Yeah, well, just to be safe, I'll go in alone. You hang around outside. Stay under cover. Don't show yourself to anyone. Unless you see or hear some trouble.
Don't worry. I'll keep a good watch.
Well, that's a fine way to greet a husband when he comes home from work.
Jeff, what are you doing home so early?
Well, I thought I'd just come home and check up on you. See if you keep as busy as you claim.
I'll bet you don't work half as hard. Seriously, what are you doing home? Is anything wrong?
No, far from it. Everything's right today. I've been given the day off.
What for?
Well, honey, Mr. Wilson's planning on opening a branch in Prairie City. And he said I could manage it if I wanted to.
If you want to? Why, Jeff, that's wonderful.
Well, it's certainly worth looking into.
You don't sound very enthusiastic. I thought this was what you always wanted, a real opportunity.
Well, of course, it's a big responsibility. I don't know if I'm ready for it.
What's gotten into you? I've never heard you talk like that before. You've always been so intensely ambitious.
Well, I still am, Molly, only... Well, I just don't want to get in over my head.
What's wrong?
Wrong?
Now, don't try that innocent act with me, darling. I know you too well. Something's troubling you, something important that has to do with the job. What is it?
I hate to tell you, Molly.
You know you can depend on me. Tell me what it is.
It's Slater. Sam Slater.
Slater? Why, I thought he was in prison for life.
He escaped. And there's a rumor going around that he's heading this way. You remember the other day when I told you I thought I saw Bob Shea, a member of the old gang, around town? Well, he must have seen me, too. Got word to Slater. If those two get together, it means plenty of trouble for me. They know about that poster and my picture on it.
That isn't fair. You're not a criminal, and you never were. Sam Slater tricked you into joining him on that one robbery because he wanted you with his gang. He told you it was a practical joke. You were just a kid, and you believed him.
It doesn't matter why I was there. The fact that I was present makes me as guilty as Slater himself.
That's not so.
Yes, it is. That's what your father says, and he knows the law.
My father? You didn't tell him.
No. I started to, and then I began to think of you and how you'd feel if I went to prison, and... Well, I lost my courage.
I'm glad you did. I'm ashamed of Father. Ashamed that now that we really want him, we can't go to him for help.
Molly, darling, he's bound to find out about this someday. Don't you think it's better to tell him now and get it over with?
No, I won't let you go to prison for a crime you didn't commit.
Yes, but...
We'll go away. We'll go farther west, where Slater will never find you.
You think we could?
Of course.
Maybe we've been worrying about nothing. Maybe Slater isn't headed this way at all. Maybe I just imagined I saw that member of his gang.
You didn't imagine that. You saw Bob all right, and he saw you. How else do you think I found you?
Slater.
How are you, Jack? Excuse me, it's Jeff now, ain't it? And this must be Sheriff Harper's daughter, Molly. Howdy, ma'am.
What do you want with us?
Well, now, I might want a lot of things from you. But to begin with, a nice warm meal will do.
We want nothing to do with you. Get out.
Oh, now, that ain't any way to talk to an old friend.
I said get out.
Suppose I don't.
Well, then I'll...
You'll turn me over to the sheriff? Then I just have to tell him who was with me in that express office holdup back in Deadwood. You know, young fella who disappeared. I got a poster with his picture on it.
I didn't know you intended to rob that express office. And I didn't touch a dime of that money, and you know it.
Sure, I know it. But that ain't what I'd tell Sheriff Harper.
What do you want me to do?
Understand you're working in a bank now.
What about it?
Well, now, that ought to make it kind of easy for me to knock that place over. You'll know just when the vault's full. Might even supply me with the combination.
Listen, Slater. I'll never be a party to anything like that.
I think you will. Or else I'll just have to send a little message to Sheriff Harper about his son-in-law. And from then on, your home life would be kind of busted up, what with you being behind bars all the time.
Why, you cowardly...
Oh, now, there you go again, insulting your old friend.
Molly, I can't do it. I can't bargain with this man.
Jeff, you can't let him turn you in. You won't have a chance. You know what Father's like.
But, Molly...
I don't know what to say. It isn't always easy to do what's right.
You mean you want me to take orders from this outlaw?
Sure she does. She's real sensible. And it'll pay you to be the same. Because if you try any tricks, I left that poster of you with a friend. It'll go to Sheriff Harper pronto. Understand?
Yes, I understand.
Then let's get down to business. Now, first of all... Who's that?
I haven't the faintest idea.
One of them's wearing a mask. They must be friends of yours.
I never seen him before.
They seem to be heading this way.
Get rid of him, fast. And remember, I'll be right there in the kitchen, listening to everything you say.
Don't let this mask upset you. I'm here in the interests of the law.
What is it you want?
May we come in?
I'm not in the habit of inviting masked men into my living room.
You have nothing to fear from us, I can assure you. But we'd like to make certain you have nothing to hide.
Come in.
Thank you.
Now that we've let you in, suppose you explain the meaning of that last remark.
It's very simple. There's an escaped convict somewhere in this area. A man by the name of Sam Slater. We have reason to believe somebody may be harboring him.
Oh, why should you think we're harboring him?
No special reason, ma'am. But we're checking everywhere.
I'm certain you're wasting your time here.
You not see or hear anything of this man?
Nothing.
You realize, of course, this man is a dangerous criminal.
Yes, we've heard of him.
Everybody must keep a sharp lookout. It's the only way he'll be caught.
We'll do that now, naturally. Won't we, dear?
Yes, of course.
Well, we've done all we... By the way, we didn't get your name.
Niles. Jeff and Molly Niles.
How long have you lived in this county, Mr. Niles?
About 7 years. Why do you ask?
Just curious, that's all. Well, we'll be on our way. Keep your eyes open.
Yes, we will.
Bye.
You done fine, kids. Especially you, ma'am. Just keep it up and we won't have any trouble at all.
What do you want us to do now?
Suppose you get on out in the kitchen and fix me up something to eat. He and I'll sit here and have a little talk about business.
Something wrong, Kemo Sabe?
There was someone hiding in their kitchen. I saw him just as we were leaving. It must be Slater.
You think young couple protect him?
It's hard to tell. He might have been holding a gun on them.
What we do?
If Slater is in there, he'll have to be turned over to the law. You ride to town as fast as you can and find the sheriff. Ask him if he'll come back here with you.
You stay here?
Yes. I'll watch the house and try and grab Slater if I get the chance.
Him killer. You be careful, Kemo Sabe.
Don't worry, Tonto. I will.
This is the main vault back here.
Uh-huh. You sure you put down the right combination? What about the gold shipments? When do they come in?
Usually on the 2nd of the month.
The 2nd of them? Hey, that's tomorrow. Looks like everything's working out just fine.
For you, maybe. But not for anyone else.
I'll take charge of this. Now let's see how that food's coming along.
Hold it, Slater. Toss your gun over there.
Well, the man with the mask, huh?
Now put your hands behind your back. Tie him up, Niles. Hurry, and don't you try anything.
What on earth?
It's all right, Mrs. Niles. Everything is under control now.
You've captured him?
Yes, and my Indian friend has gone for the sheriff.
The sheriff?
Slater, get over there. Niles.
Well, there's nothing I can do except wait for the sheriff.
It won't be long, Slater. About 15 or 20 minutes.
A lot can happen in 15 or 20 minutes.
I'm a little disappointed in you, Niles. You look like an honest man and you have a nice place here. Why throw it all away by helping this outlaw rob a bank?
What would you do if he had a gun in your back?
Is that the only reason why you were going to help him?
What do you mean?
It's just a guess. But I'm wondering if you're not that young fellow who disappeared just after Slater staged that holdup 7 years ago.
You don't understand. My husband's innocent, but he can't prove it. He'll go to jail for years and years if Slater talks to the sheriff.
When a man's afraid, Mrs. Niles, it makes him behave foolishly. Your husband is innocent, he won't go to jail. It's only your fear that makes you think so. Why so nervous, Niles? It'll all be over soon. My Indian friend will be back here with the sheriff shortly.
That's just what's making him nervous, mister. He knows once I talk, he's through for good. Unless something happens first to prevent it.
If you try anything crooked, Niles, it'll only prove you're guilty. I'd rather have proof you're innocent.
Drop those guns, mister. If you don't, I'll let you have it in the back.
Good work, Bob. Come on, untie me. Hurry up. Now you're acting real sensible. And as a reward, I'm going to do something real nice for you.
What do you mean?
Well, now, you don't want this masked man talking to the sheriff when he comes, do you? I'm going to fix it so as you'll find him lying on the floor, dead.
What good'll that do?
You'll tell the sheriff I turned the tables on this hombre, shot him, and got away. That'll send him and the Indian out looking for me, and then there won't be any lawmen around to interfere when you and me rob that bank.
It won't work, Slater.
Why not?
Because I have a hunch that Jeff is too honest to tell a story like that.
You're crazy, mister. He knows by now it don't pay to be honest. How'll you have it, in the back or in the stomach?
You're not afraid.
I happen to believe that when a man's in the right, he has no reason to be afraid.
Yeah? Maybe this is going to change your mind.
No!
This Sheriff Harper, Kemo Sabe.
There's your man, Sheriff. Sam Slater and Bob Shea, one of his sidekicks. Do you have handcuffs for them? Take care of them, Tonto.
What was Slater doing here? In my son-in-law's house?
Why don't you ask Jeff?
Hello, Jim.
Well, son, what about it?
I'm sorry, Jim, but I'm afraid what you're thinking is right. I was the man with Slater when he robbed that express company office in Deadwood 7 years ago.
You realize what this means, son?
Yes, I know.
No, Dad, you can't. You can't arrest Jeff. He's not a criminal. It was all a mistake.
It's my duty, Molly.
Your duty. Is that all you think about? The letter of the law. Well, what about the spirit?
Molly, you don't understand.
Oh, yes, I do. I understand perfectly. You're just not human. Why, it was Jeff who helped capture these two outlaws. And he saved the masked man's life, even though he knew it might mean his going to prison.
That's right, Sheriff. You still want to arrest him?
No, I can't do it. No matter what it costs me.
You don't have to give up your badge. You've done nothing wrong by showing a little mercy.
What do you mean?
There's a statute of limitations in this state on everything except murder. It runs for 7 years. Jeff can never be arrested for that escapade now.
Darling, did you hear that?
Yes, Molly, I heard.
But here are 2 others for you to arrest, Sheriff.
The greatest of pleasure. You should have stayed in prison, Slater. You'll probably hang this time. You've got 2 murders to answer for.
Wait a minute, Sheriff. Slater, nothing you can say now will put Jeff behind bars. But you can say a lot to clear his reputation. If you have any decency left in you, this is your last chance to prove it. How about it?
All right. The kid was innocent. I tricked him into that robbery.
Thanks, Slater.
Come on, Tonto. Our work is done here.
But we haven't thanked you.
There's no need for thanks. Goodbye and good luck.
Well, you folks will have to excuse me. I gotta get these critters locked up. I'll see you all later.
Oh, Jim, you'll have another talk with Tom, won't you, and see what you can do for his boy?
Don't worry. From now on, I'm going to be a different kind of a sheriff.
And if you see Mr. Wilson, tell him Jeff is definitely going to take that new job.
Oh, I'll make it a point to see him.
Jeff, I'm so glad we don't have to worry about the past anymore.
Yeah, and we owe it all to the man with the mask.
I wonder who he is. Didn't the Indian tell you, Dad?
Yes, I was a little curious myself. But I should have guessed the answer. He's the Lone Ranger.
Hail, Silver, hoy!
Be with the Lone Ranger and Tonto same time next week for new dangers in another thrill-packed adventure. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Ranger.
Hi-yo, Silver!
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver. The Lone Ranger.
Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early West. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. The Lone Ranger rides again.
You find any sign of bank robber, Kemo Sabe?
No, Tonto, I'm afraid he's given us the slip.
Not first time him do that. Him plenty clever man. We lucky to trail him this far.
What puzzles me is he hasn't robbed a bank in weeks now. His trail seems to end here.
You think him go to hiding until trouble blow over?
It's possible. He knows the sheriff is close on his heels.
But too bad we not know what him look like. Him maybe nearby. We have no way of knowing.
I've been thinking the same thing. If he is nearby, he'll give himself away sooner or later.
But how, Kemo Sabe? Him smart enough to know that now bank robbery points straight to him.
All crooks are greedy. When the old ways of stealing become too dangerous, they find new ones.
That make good sense. Like men who wear disguise to hide face.
Exactly, Tonto. Question is, what kind of a disguise? If he isn't robbing banks, how's he been getting his money these days?
If we stay around here 2-3 days more, keep eyes, ears open, maybe we find out.
It's worth a try. How we fix for supplies?
Plenty low. Me ride into town tomorrow. Stock up fresh.
Good. I'll scout around the countryside and see what I can learn.
Miss Whitcomb?
Yes?
I'm Rick Sanders. I'm a friend of your youngest son.
A friend of Tom's? Oh, come in. Come in, please come in. You know, I was just writing to Tom. When did you see him, and how is he? Sit down, won't you? Forgive me if I seem to blubber a bit, but this is such an occasion. It's been so long since I've heard from Tom.
You look exactly the way he described you, ma'am. Only maybe a little prettier.
You're a very nice boy.
And this room looks just like I'd pictured it. Well, this chair, this must be the one he told me about. The one he made out of an old apple tree.
He told you about that?
You know, when you're in the Army, you get awful lonesome and talk endlessly about home. Of course, I have no home, so I'd listen to Tom tell about his, what it looked like, and how I was going to feel to get back to it. Tom's awful anxious to get back, ma'am.
And I'm awfully anxious to get him back. Have you any idea when he'll be coming?
Well, that's why I'm here. Tom thought you might be able to help him get home.
Me help? How?
You said you hadn't heard from Tom in a long time?
Not in over 2 months. Is there anything wrong? Has anything happened to Tom?
Oh, he's all right, ma'am. But he's in prison.
No.
It's a military prison. You see, I was supposed to do guard duty, and I was sick. So Tom took my place. Well, the next night it was his turn, and he hadn't had much rest, so he fell asleep at his post.
They shoot men in war times for that, don't they?
Sometimes.
But they can't shoot Tom. They can't. Something has got to be done. Surely there's something we can do.
Well, that's why I came here. You see, money spent in the right places can do a lot.
You mean bribery?
Sometimes that's the only way.
How much money?
Take quite a bit, ma'am. At least $2,500.
Well, that is quite a bit.
I have $500 of my own I'd be glad to give, if you think you could raise the other $2,000.
You are a nice boy.
Well, Tom's my friend.
I don't know where I'll get $2,000.
Tom says you own the house. You could borrow on that.
Well, I suppose I could. I never thought of that. I've never borrowed money before.
You couldn't borrow it in a better cause, ma'am.
I certainly couldn't. And yesterday I gave your friend, Mr. Saunders, the $2,000. He is adding 500 of his own, so you'll be coming home before long. You have no idea how I'm looking forward to the day. Lovingly, Mother. Sam! Oh, I almost missed you.
Miss Whitcomb, I can't take your letter. The bag's all closed up, and there's the stage coming in now.
But, Sam, it's got to go out on this mail.
Mrs. Whitcomb, I just can't wait. There's the coach now.
It's to Tom, Sam. Please.
All right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Mom! Hey, Mom!
Tom!
Hello, Mother.
Oh, it's so good to have you here. Let me look at you.
You don't know how good it is to be here.
Darling, how did you get out?
Why, I was mustered out. How do you think? That's the only way you get out of here.
But I mean out of prison.
Prison? I wasn't in prison. Whatever gave you that idea? Why, Mrs. Whitcomb, shame on you, trying to make a jailbird out of your son.
Well, your friend Ricky Saunders told me that you were in prison. I gave him money to get you out.
You gave him money? But I don't even know anyone named Ricky Saunders.
Well, I don't know what to say. He seemed to know all about you, and when he told me he needed...
Well, Tom, sure good to see you. Back home to stay now?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm back to stay. Looks like it's about time I got back, too. Well, come on, Mother. We better stop by the sheriff's office on our way home and tell him about this.
Any trace of the man we're after, Tonto?
Me not sure, Kemo Sabe.
And you did learn something. Has he pulled a robbery?
No, not that. But me do hear a very bad story in town.
Oh? What was it?
Young feller get off stagecoach, him just out of army. Him meet mother. She say army friend come to her. Tell her son in army prison. She give him money to get boy out. But boy say him not even know friend.
That's one of the lowest schemes I've ever run into.
It's plenty clever one.
Yes, just clever enough for our bank robber to be involved in it.
Me think same thing.
How much did she give him?
She not say.
Do you know her name?
Mrs. Whitcomb.
Whitcomb? Come on.
Look, Mother, I wish you'd stop worrying about Saunders. The sheriff will catch him.
How can he catch him? He said himself he didn't have a clue to follow. I'm afraid we've lost our money. A fine homecoming for you.
Listen, Mother, it's fine for me. Just being here.
No sense in going for your gun if that's what you have in mind.
Well, look, my mother's had enough shocks for one day, so take what you want and get out.
What I want is what you want too, I think.
What do you mean?
Catch the fellow who cheated your mother out of her money.
Why?
So we can send him to jail and stop this sort of thing.
You sound as if you were on the side of the law.
You sound as though that were impossible.
What about the mask?
It's possible to wear a mask and be on the side of the law. Unusual, maybe, but possible.
Yes, but how did you know we'd been cheated?
A friend of mine overheard you talking to your mother in town. If you work with me, perhaps we can catch this crook and get your money back.
Do you think you could? The sheriff wasn't very encouraging. He said it was a most baffling case.
Tell me, Mrs. Whitcomb, what was this fellow's name?
Saunders. Rick Saunders, he told me.
Did Saunders seem to know Tom?
Oh, yes, very well. I don't see how he could have told me the things he did unless he knew him. Why, he even told me about Tom making that chair out of an old apple tree. He completely took me in.
How much money did you give him?
$2,000. I borrowed it on our house.
And you hadn't talked to anyone recently about the chair?
No.
He could have found out from someone else. Or someone else could have been working with him.
How do you mean?
Tell me, Mrs. Whitcomb, have you talked to anyone recently about Tom?
Why, yes. There was a Mr. Applegate came here about 10 days ago. But he seemed such a fine, soft-spoken old man.
What did he want?
Well, he said he was traveling through the state making a record of the Texas fighting men. I didn't talk very much about Tom, and I certainly didn't tell him about the chair.
Did he ask any questions about your son?
Only his name and regiment, that's all. He spent most of his time talking about Hank Denton.
Who's he?
Hank Denton is old Charlie Denton's boy. They live over in Carsonville. He's been away at war, too.
And he hasn't returned yet?
Well, he hadn't up to a couple of days ago.
I see. Could you tell me what this Applegate fellow looked like?
He was a tall, fine-looking, white-haired old gentleman with a white handlebar mustache. Certainly had good manners.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Whitcomb. You've been a great help. I hope I'll have some news for you soon.
What's your next move?
Pay a little call on Charlie Denton. That is, if Applegate hasn't already been there ahead of me.
Well, do you think Applegate and Sanders are working together?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Sounds like a perfect setup. Applegate gets the information. Saunders uses it to wring money out of worried parents.
Well, I hope you're on the right track. Oh, I'm sorry I gave you such a rough welcome.
Forget it. I'm used to that. Goodbye.
My, what a nice fellow. And hasn't he such nice manners?
That's just what you said about Mr. Applegate and Saunders.
Well, I like good manners, even in crooks.
Hello, my young friend.
Hello, Applegate.
I would say, from the smile that wreathes yonder cherubic countenance, that the bluebird of success, bursting with song, has perched itself upon your shoulder.
If you mean I got the money. Yeah.
How much?
Just what we planned. Did you see Denton?
Yeah, he's still visiting his sister. He'll be back today.
Oh, what a wonderful, easy way to make money.
Better than robbing banks, huh?
Sure. Much better just to go to a fellow's mother and ask for money.
Yes, my boy. Mother love is a sacred and beautiful thing. Next time, why don't you ask for 5,000?
I think I shall.
Well, Denton should be getting back by now. I better get over there.
Say, you think you ought to whir that rig over to Denton's?
Why not?
I just thought someone might have found out by now that we're fakes. Might have gone to the sheriff and turned in a description of you.
Yes, that's right. You know, my hunch about teaming up with you was a good one. You're smart.
Can't rob banks and stay out of jail if you're dumb.
No. Well, let me see. Oh, yes. I have a fine makeup. Wore it when I was on tour with the Chautauqua in Canada. Dark hair, dark mustache. Nothing like them to take 20 years off a man's life.
What happens if Denton's still not back when you get there?
Well, he's due back any time. I'll simply sit on his front porch and wait.
No need to be frightened, Mr. Denton. You are Charlie Denton, aren't you?
Now I won't tell you who I am or anything else until you take off that mask.
Sorry, I can't do that.
We're here to help you. Come to warn you of big trouble.
Mr. Denton, there's a man on his way here to rob you.
What man?
No one been here yet to ask you questions about your son?
No.
Two men who call themselves Applegate and Saunders have been swindling the families of soldiers around here.
We think you next on their list.
How did you find this out?
I had a talk with a Mrs. Whitcomb over in Rock Hill.
Them take $2,000 from her. Pretend to get her son out of prison.
Why, I can't believe that anyone could do such a thing. Seems so heartless.
Yes, it is pretty heartless.
Any idea what these men look like?
The man who comes here first, the one who gets the information, is an elderly gentleman, white-haired with a white mustache.
An elderly man. White hair, white mustache. The name?
Applegate.
Well, I'll watch out for Mr. Applegate. And when he shows up, I'll wring his neck.
Better you let law take care of that.
But he deserves it. Mother love is a sacred and beautiful thing. To hear of anyone abusing it like that makes you want to strangle him.
I'm going to try to pick up his trail before he gets here.
Well, thanks for the warning. I'll be on the lookout. A stranger. In case Applegate shows up, I'd like to let you know. I was wondering where you're going to be.
They're a good camp spot in grove of trees 1 mile back, Kemo Sabe.
Yes, and close, too. You know the place?
Yes, I'll get in touch with you there if I see any signs of them.
Good.
Up, boy, up. We're in trouble.
What do you mean?
We're being pursued, my young friend. A masked man and an Indian are searching for 2 scoundrels by the name of Applegate and Saunders.
How'd they find out?
I don't know. They seem to know all about our deal with old Mrs. Whitcomb.
Oh, her kid must have come back sooner than we expected.
Yes, it's unfortunate. Afraid we'll have to forego the opportunity to swindle the worthy Mr. Denton.
Did you get to see him?
No, he's still away. The masked man mistook me for Denton, warned me against myself. How do you like that?
I think I like it a lot.
Huh?
It may give us a chance to trap this masked hombre before he can stick his nose any further into our business. Any idea where he is now?
Yes, indeed. Looking for us.
No, I mean, do you know where we can find him?
Are you mad, my young friend? Of course I took the precaution of asking where they'd be camping, but only so that you and I could ride rapidly in the opposite direction.
You give up too easily, Applegate.
I value my neck rather highly.
And I value our setup more than your neck. Now, if this masked man's so anxious to catch up with us, we're going to give him a chance to.
I don't think I like the sound of that.
Well, there's no risk. We're in a perfect position to lead him into a trap.
And after we do, what?
Once a man's dead, he can't cause us any more trouble.
Oh, I've never gone in for violence of any sort. Swindling people is one thing, but this...
Why, it's self-defense, that's all. This masked man and this Indian are out to get us. What are we supposed to do? Sit and wait like ducks in a shooting gallery till they succeed?
No, that doesn't make much sense.
Of course not.
What do you suggest?
Well, it's simple. You keep on posing as Denton. Go to the masked man's campsite. Tell him Applegate just left your place. Say he's on his way to see John Weaver.
John Weaver? Who's he?
Me, of course. You direct him to come here, to our hideout. Now, when he shows up, I'll pose as Weaver till I get the drop on him. After that, we've got him right where we want him.
My boy, I think it might work.
It's got to work. No masked man's gonna outsmart me.
Hello there.
Well, hello, Mr. Denton. My friend and I have to be ready for almost anything. We thought it was an outlaw.
Well, afraid I'm hardly the type. My friend, big things are happening.
Applegate show up?
Just like you said, white hair, white mustache, lovely old gent.
Have any trouble keeping him at your house?
I didn't try.
You didn't?
No, I was afraid he might become suspicious. I haven't had much experience capturing criminals. I thought you might do a better job.
Do you know where him go?
Wasn't hard to find out. Applegate kept asking questions about John Weaver's younger brother, the one that's still in the Army. So I knew he must be heading for Weaver's place next. If you ride fast, you can be there, waiting for him.
Thanks for coming here, Mr. Denton. We'll arrange a reception for Applegate that he won't be expecting.
What about Saunders, fellow Kemo Sabe? Him likely to show up at Mr. Denton's house soon now.
Once we have Applegate, Tonto, we can go to Mr. Denton's place and wait for Saunders. With luck, we'll catch him, too.
Come fast, my friends. I'd hate to face that young rascal without your moral support.
Don't worry, Mr. Denton. We'll be there. Now, where is John Weaver's place?
Well, I'll have to take you part way. It's a little hard to explain.
All right, let's go.
You turn off here and go down the road a ways. You run right into the cabin.
Thanks, Mr. Denton.
Weaver's an old friend of mine. Just mention my name and you'll be well taken care of.
Good. I'll do that.
Be careful of Applegate. From what I saw of him, he's a hard man to handle.
Don't worry.
What is this, a holdup?
Don't let this map frighten you, Mr. Weaver. We were sent here by a friend of yours, Mr. Denton.
Oh, Charlie Denton sent you.
He said to mention his name, and we'd be well taken care of.
Well, I should say you will be. Come in.
Just a moment. You'd better stay out here and watch for Applegate, and keep out of sight.
You expecting someone else?
Yes, a man named Applegate. I'd better tell you about him because I'll need your help.
Well, sit down, won't you? I'm sure glad you warned me about him, mister. There's nothing I'd like better than...
He must be coming.
It's a good thing you got here ahead of him.
You understand what you're to do now. He suspects nothing. It should be easy.
It'll be a pleasure to handle a crook like him.
How do you do? My name is Applegate. Are you the Weaver whose brother is away in the army?
That's right. Why?
I wonder if I could come in and talk to you for a moment?
Certainly.
I'm touring about making a record of the Texas fighting men. I wanted to ask you a few questions about...
Put him up, Applegate. Put him up! I think we ought to tie him up, don't you?
You're right.
What's the meaning of this?
Keep still, Applegate. There's a rope over in that chest of drawers.
Now you put him up, masked man.
Get away from that window, in case your Indian friend takes any notions to look in. Go on, get over there.
Yes, we want him to come in, not look in. So supposing you call him. Call him, masked man.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll call him, in case he gets any funny ideas.
Good idea.
What's his name?
You couldn't pronounce it.
If you can say it, I can pronounce it. What is it?
Sakwadase.
Sakwadase. You weren't fooling, mister. That is quite a name.
I needn't remind you to remain absolutely quiet.
Hey, you, Sakwadase. Your friends say, come in.
Me come right away.
You'll be right in. Keep your eye on the masked man, Applegate. I'll dispose of the Indian first.
Lucky thing him tell me come in back way.
And luckier still, he didn't know your name was really Tonto.
Mr. Applegate's mustache come off.
Yes, Tonto. And Mr. Applegate becomes Mr. Denton without his dark mustache.
Him plenty clever man.
But not clever enough, Tonto. We'll get some rope and tie these two up. The sheriff should be very glad to get them. You'll find some rope over in that chest of drawers.
I can hardly believe it. Look, Tom, we've got it all back, thanks to you two gentlemen.
Son, an Applegate cause you no more trouble. Them locked up tight.
And after you give evidence of their trial, I think they'll stay locked up for a long time to come.
To tell you the truth, Mother, I never thought we'd see this money again.
Wait a minute, Tom. If it hadn't been for the masked man and the Indian, we wouldn't have. The least we can do is give them a reward.
No thanks, ma'am. Our reward is seeing justice done. Come on, Tonto. Adios.
Wait! Can't you stay? There's so many things I want to ask you. Oh, they're getting on their horses. They're going away.
Of course you are, Mother. I could have told you that masked man wouldn't want a reward. I've heard about his good deeds. Why, even in the Army, the men were talking about him. He's a Lone Ranger.
Hail, Silver! Away!
Be with the Lone Ranger and Tonto same time next week for new dangers in another thrill-packed adventure. The Lone Ranger rides again.
fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver. The Lone Ranger.
Hi-yo silver! Away!
With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early West. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Yes, Jim, I'm real sorry. But the express company just sent an order through that they can't be financially responsible for any more shipments that are lost. The sheriff's done his best, but...
Yeah, I heard you were having Indian trouble, but I didn't know it was that serious.
Well, 3 stages were held up last month. And those thieving redskin Paiutes made clean getaways every time, too.
I always thought the Paiutes were a peaceful tribe.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's the Paiutes as a whole that are doing the robbing. Just a few renegades, I expect, but what they've been getting away with is costing the express company a lot of money.
Yeah, I see, but Paiutes or no Paiutes, this money's got to get to that bank in Carsonville. It's to pay off the loan on my ranch.
Of course. But you understand, in case of an Indian attack, the express company can't be held responsible.
I understand.
Huh. This sounds like the stage for Carsonville now. Right on time, too. Well, Jim, if you give me the money, I'll count it and make out a receipt.
I think I'll take a ticket on that stage instead. I'll just ride along with the money myself.
Well, that's up to you, but as a passenger, you know you'll have to pay full fare.
Well, it's worth a lot more than the price of a ticket to see that this money gets to that bank.
I'll get your ticket. There you are, Jim. Well, gotta get the mail aboard. Howdy, Pete. Looks like you're right on schedule today.
Yeah, making pretty good time, Mr. Mason.
Where's Matt? Didn't he supposed to be riding shotgun to Carsonville with you today?
Yeah, I'm picking him up at the edge of town, Mr. Mason.
Ah. Well, did you see any Paiutes along the way?
Nope, nary a one.
Good. Well, that's good news, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like you'd be riding alone.
Oh, I don't mind.
Well, good luck. All right, Pete, take it away.
Come on, baby.
Did you hear?
As plain as if we'd been in the room with you.
Then you know what to do.
Yeah. We'll take the back trail cut off. That'll give us plenty of time to get ready.
Good. Very good.
We'll look the area over as soon as we've eaten, Tonto.
Me plenty hungry. We ride a long way to get here.
I'm sorry we couldn't have made it before those last holdups.
If report's true, Kemo Sabe, Indians to blame for holdups. What good 2 men against whole tribe?
I never trust hearsay, Tonto. I want to check the facts for myself.
You think report's not true?
That's what I'm down here to find out. This territory won't be safe until those outlaws are captured.
And that's why we camp near Stagecoach Road?
Yes, Tonto. Since most of the holdups have taken place in this vicinity, we'll trail a few of the coaches just in case those outlaws strike again.
Come on, Brownie. Go. Go. Down there. Get back.
I just dragged a big log across the road and blocked it.
And the stage can't drive around without stopping?
There's not a chance of it.
Good. Shouldn't be long now.
Hey, listen, Bart, don't you think Mason's overworking this Indian business? Army's liable to start investigating and find out it ain't Paiutes who are sticking up the stages.
How are they going to find out it ain't Injuns? In these get-ups, nobody will recognize us.
I know, but there's...
I'll quit worrying. As long as someone else is being blamed for the robberies, nobody will suspect us. And we're in the clear.
Well, maybe you're right.
Here's the stage coming. Put our war paint back in the saddlebags. Hey, Ed, hurry up.
Oh, baby. Now, how in the tarnation did that brush get there? Wait a minute, I'll get it.
Get ready to go into your act. Come on.
Paiutes.
Tonto, gunfire.
Come from north.
Let's go.
You, throw down gun.
Sure, Injun. Anything you say.
Rifle, too.
You got what? Money I want.
You dirty thieving redskin. Oh, no, you don't.
Get Branch off road. You go fast. No look back.
Sure, sure. Anything you say, Injun.
Now go. No, stop.
Is all the money there?
You bet it is.
Good. Let's get off these Indian rigs and get out of here.
You're forgetting their guns. Some smart sheriff might think it's strange Indians didn't take them with them.
Yeah, you're right. Come on, let's go.
I don't know what you're always so worried about. All right. Come on.
Look, Kemo Sabe.
Something's wrong, Tonto. The stage is going too fast.
Late, mister. The Paiutes just got through robbing us.
I see your guard's been hurt.
Yeah, he's dead. Them murdering Paiutes shot my passenger, too.
Masked, huh? More robbers. Well, there's nothing left to take. The Indians cleaned us out.
Maybe I can do something to help you. You'd better come out here and sit down. Take it easy, fella.
I'll be all right. You might as well shove on. You just wasted your time and energy stopping us.
Tonto, you'd better bring one of our canteens. You're jumping to the wrong conclusion, mister. My Indian friend and I came to investigate some gunfire and offer help.
Is the fella hurt bad?
He's lucky. The bullet just grazed his shoulder.
Lucky, huh? After I've been robbed of every cent that I've saved up?
You say it was Indians who held you up?
You bet it was Indians, Paiutes. Them sneaking redskins ambushed us back down the road.
You're sure them Paiutes?
Nobody could mistake them in their war paint.
I see. The doctor should look at your passenger's wound. I don't think it's serious, but there's no sense in taking any unnecessary chances.
You mean we're free to go on to Carsonville?
Why, certainly. The sooner you get there, the sooner the sheriff can round up a posse and go after the men who held you up. You'd better hurry.
Sure, right away. Right away, mister.
Well, I don't understand.
Perhaps you will the next time we meet. All right, driver. Take her away.
Help!
You really think it Paiutes who hold up stage, Kemo Sabe?
It's hard for me to believe that, Tonto. The Paiutes respect the peace treaty they have signed. They're proud of their status as law-abiding people.
And that's right, but drivers say him sure it Paiutes who robbed him.
Yes, he was quite positive. The driver also said they were ambushed back down the road. I think we should go there and look around.
And maybe we can find trail there of Indian horses.
Come on. Right here, Tonto. This looks like the scene of the holdup.
Marks in soft dirt show that big branch used to block road.
Perhaps we can pick up the outlaw's trail.
Tracks show men go that way. Kemo Sabe. We find tracks of horses used by men who robbed stagecoach.
These tracks were made by horses wearing shoes.
But Indian horses not wear shoes.
Tonto, I want you to ride to the Paiute camp. Find out from Lone Eagle if any of his braves have left his village to turn renegade. Then meet me back at our camp later.
What you do now?
I'm going to see the express agent in town. He may be able to give us some information. Let's go.
Who are you?
My name wouldn't mean anything to you.
But the mask.
I have good reasons for concealing my identity.
Oh, an outlaw, then.
I didn't come here for gunplay.
Well, then what did you come here for?
I came to report the stage to Carsonville was held up and robbed.
What?
Your guard was killed and the passenger wounded.
Oh, this is terrible. This is awful.
I came here to find out if you could give me some help.
Help you?
I've heard reports that Indians have been holding up your stages.
Yes.
Do you think Paiutes are behind these attacks?
Of course I do. I have eyewitness reports from passengers as well as my guards and drivers.
White men could easily disguise themselves.
What do you mean?
I have reason to believe that Paiutes are not guilty of the attacks on the stages.
Oh? What makes you think so?
The men who attacked the stages today may have worn Paiute war paint and clothes. But I think they were white men.
Have you any proof?
No, no real proof. But I found hoof prints of their horses.
What? Are you trying to say that from a hoof print of a horse you can tell whether a white man or an Indian's been riding it?
Not exactly. But the horses ridden by the men who held up the stage today wore iron shoes. Indian horses aren't shod.
Hey, that's true. Then you believe crooks are trying to blame their work on Indians?
Do. The men behind these attacks must be found. Unless they're exposed, a serious Indian war may result.
What you said is possible. I'll report this to the sheriff. He'll probably want to talk to you, too. Where can he find you?
I'll be camped near the big gray rock on the stagecoach road to Carsonville.
I know the place. I'll tell him.
Thank you.
Well, we're back safe and sound. And quite a bit richer, too.
Yeah.
What's the matter, boss? You look worried.
I am. A man went out that back door just before you came in. He suspects it isn't Paiutes that are attacking the stages. And if he keeps on talking, he's going to start a lot of people thinking.
Who is he?
Someone wearing a mask.
A mask?
Yeah. And plenty handy with these guns, too. I don't think I'd like trading shots with him.
What are we going to do? If he keeps checking up, he's bound to find out the truth.
He will if he's given the chance. But it's up to us to see that he doesn't get that chance.
What do you mean, boss?
I mean we've got to kill him and waste no time about it.
We'll leave the horses here.
Boy said he'd be behind those rocks. Yeah, come on and be quiet.
Oh, easy. What's the matter, boy?
Oh, the shooting around. Yes, but I can get him.
Crossfire. We'd better get out of here.
We'll make a run for the horses. Come on.
Kemo Sabe, them hit you?
No, Tonto. Thanks to Silver.
Who men who tried to shoot you?
I don't know. I didn't see their faces.
Maybe them see masks and think you outlaw.
It's possible, but I doubt it. Honest lawmen wouldn't have fired first without giving me a chance to surrender.
Well, that too. Me get horses, we try to follow.
No, Tonto. If my suspicions are correct, we can locate them later. I want to hear what Lone Eagle had to say.
Lone Eagle say no braves from his tribe rob stages. Him give his word as chief of all Paiutes.
Lone Eagle's an honest man. His word is to be trusted. Tonto, only one person beside yourself knew where I could be found. I talked with that man in town.
Who that, Kemo Sabe?
The express agent for the stage company.
You think maybe him rob his own stages?
I have no proof that'll stand up in court. But there may be a way to get him to show his hand and get the proof we need.
How we do that?
I'll need a little gold dust first. You buy it with this.
Me go to Gold King Mine. It's not far from here.
That's a good idea. The foreman's an old friend of ours, George Briggs. You can get it from him.
Now, what do you do with gold dust?
It's to be bait, Tonto. I'll put on a disguise and pay a little visit to the stage office.
Fools, you stupid, blundering fools!
We couldn't help it, boss. Like we said, along came some other umbrage and started pumping lead at us. We were caught in a crossfire.
Now that you've bungled the job, we've got to be extra careful. We've got to...
Howdy, gentlemen.
Howdy, mister. What can I do for you? These men won't mind waiting.
That mighty fine of them. Thank you, gents.
Don't mention it.
Well?
He want a ticket on the stage to Carsonville. You take cost out of pouch.
Ah, looks like you've done all right with your prospecting.
Yeah, only do all right.
Well, don't you think it's a bit dangerous for you to be carrying all this gold around with you? You know you might be held up.
What I got here only sample. There plenty more sacks like that filled to the drawstrings in my shack near Red Canyon Mine.
Here's your gold. And here's your ticket on the Carsonville stage. Leaves here tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock.
Thank you, mister. Since this be last night in town, only have lots of celebrating to do. Have plenty fun. Well, thank you, mister. Goodbye, gents.
Well, it looks like Ed and I have another date with the Carsonville stage.
No, Bart, no. I don't think we should risk that now. Not with that masked man around suspecting the truth.
You mean we're not going to go after that gold?
I didn't say that. I just think you and Ed should keep your Indian war paint in your saddlebags for a while. Oh, don't worry. I want that gold just as much as you two. But I think I know a safer way of getting it than attacking the stage again.
How, boss?
Well, you heard the Swede say he was spending the night in town celebrating, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the rest of the gold is in his shack.
Near Red Canyon Mine.
Don't worry, boss. We'll get that gold. There's nothing easier than robbing somebody when they're not at home. Come on, Ed.
You think men come, Kemo Sabe?
I only hope I played my part well enough to make them believe there is gold there, with little risk of being caught.
We'll leave the horses here just in case the Swede came back.
Yeah.
Come on, we can bring it in.
Start looking.
I wonder how long it'd take them to find gold pouches.
I don't think it'll be long, Tonto. Men are attracted to gold as ants are to sugar.
I found it. They're full, too, just like the old man said.
Yeah, come on, let's get out of here. The boss is waiting.
They've taken the bait, Tonto. Come on.
those horses of 2 men we follow.
Yes, Tonto. That's the express office. Those men have done just as I hoped they would.
What we do?
You find the sheriff. Tell him you think 2 men are holding up the express office. Tell him to come quickly. I'll see that no one leaves.
Me do.
Well, looks like you two did all right this time.
It was easy.
Anybody see you?
Nope, no one was around.
Good. Now you get on down to the cafe. Let people see you. Just in case the sheriff starts checking up tomorrow on where people were tonight.
Right.
See you tomorrow, boys.
I wouldn't do that, mister. Don't reach for that gun.
What do you mean coming in here holding a gun on us?
Where did you get those gold pouches?
They're mine.
I don't think they are. But if they are yours, of course you know what's in them.
Sure I do. Gold dust.
Sure it is. I'll show you.
Sand. It's only sand.
Stole those pouches from the cabin of a prospector.
Howdy, gentlemen. You want the ticket on the stage to Carsonville?
You.
That's right.
But who's going to take your word against mine? You have no proof.
I know those Indian outfits your men have been using won't be hard to find.
You stay there.
I'll take care of that, Mason.
Looks like Kemo Sabe take care of other 2.
So these are the wigs and clothes they used when they were holding up the stages, eh?
Ah, that's right. Me even find Paiute war paint in saddlebags.
Well, Sheriff, there'll be no more attacks on the stages to Carsonville now.
I don't guess there will be, since I got those murdering coyotes locked up in my jail, thanks to you and your Indian friend. But you know, I don't understand how you knew Mason was behind all these robberies.
I suspected him after an attempt was made to ambush me, but I had no proof.
Then you baited a trap with gold dust, huh?
Yes, his greed was his undoing. Well, Tonto and I must be on our way. I know you'll see that justice is done.
You bet I will. And don't worry about the man that you wounded. The doc's gonna fix him up so he'll be able to stand trial with his friends.
Good. Adios.
Goodbye.
So long. Say, I forgot to thank the masked man for helping me get my money back.
He and his Indian friend never stay around long enough to let people thank him the way that they want to. I know, because I sure owe him a lot.
Well, I'll always be grateful to him and that Indian.
You're not the first one to say that about the masked man. He's the Lone Ranger.
Be with the Lone Ranger and Tonto same time next week for new dangers in another thrill-packed adventure. The Lone Ranger rides again.